Like, what do you do for your man?
Okay, yeah, so obviously, like I said, I cook and clean, do the laundry, that's pretty the typical stuff. But kind of like what you said, you want to make your house like a safe place for your husband to come home to and just make him comfortable and serve him. So every morning and every night, I literally massage him until he goes to bed. So every night, I put my daughter to bed and then I massage my husband to sleep and then I go to sleep. And that's what I do because he wakes up and he works hard to provide for the family. So my job is to make sure that he gets to sleep and has a good night's rest. So that's something I do. I fully trust him. That's something, a lesson that I've had to learn because sometimes I've always had a strong personality and there's been times where I doubt his decision and I've had to learn the hard way that no, you need to trust your husband. And once I do and I fully trust him, I always realize, wow, he knows what's best for us. That's something that men are really looking for in a woman is someone that can just fully trust them, just be led by them. You want a man that's a leader and that's what he truly is. And there's other stuff too, but
welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Ike. If you're new, welcome to the channel. I'm sure you just heard that clip that I played. This lady is literally saying that she massages her husband every single night before he goes to bed, and that she trusts his leadership, as a man. And this is obviously under the setting of a marriage. I'm gonna just take a little step back there because a lot of people try to put a difference between marriage and relationship. What you see a man display in a relationship is the same thing they will display in a marriage. Same thing with a woman. Any traits or behaviors that you're seeing right now that your partner is exhibiting in a relationship, it's not going to be different in a marriage, just so you know. And if you're anticipating that there will be a difference, I'm sorry to break it to you, there won't be much difference in terms of how she's behaving right now. So if you have a partner who doesn't necessarily believe in the traditional way of doing things at home, then that's going to be a problem because you won't, you won't be thinking that she will be different, when you get in a marriage. Whatever you see in a woman right now is who she would be in a marriage to you. If you guys are still dating and you think that by wifing her or that by living with her now, things are going to be different, they are not. They are not going to be different. She is going to be that same person. I mean, I took a couple of points from what this woman is saying. And the main thing that I hear is that she trusts and believes in her husband and his leadership. She believes in her husband to lead, regardless of him being the figure, even if he's acting as a figurehead. I trust him in his figurehead leadership as per just in that place of husband, in that place that he is my husband. I believe in him. I trust him to take decisions. I trust him to be the one who I put my faith in, the one who leads our relationship. And this is one important trait for a lot of men. That is most likely always what they expect from their woman. A man just wants a woman who believes in him and his direction and is able to submit to it. Not every woman is up for that. Not every woman would be willing to, submit themselves and relinquish their own authority in some way for a man. Especially some categories of women, like what? The feminists. They will not be putting themselves in that position where they are willing to submit to a man. And guys, if this is something that is absolutely important to you, you must focus. You must ensure that you follow and get a woman who actually believes in your leadership.
What do you do for your man?
okay, yeah, so obviously, like I said, I cook and clean, do the laundry, that's pretty the typical stuff.
She said she cooks and she cleans. The typical stuff. This is no longer a typical stuff. This is no longer a typical stuff, just so you know. There are so many people who don't find this as typical right now. Not everybody is willing, not every woman is willing to cook and clean for you. Okay? Just so you know. and this is basic traditional values of a home. A lot of people are going to come for me for saying some things, but that's what it is. That is what it is the basic function of a home. When it comes to the expectations that women have of men, nobody complains about it. Nobody, even the men don't complain about it. They would do it. They will live up to that expectation. They will sacrifice for that. But when it comes to the expectations that men have of women, it's different. It's like, she's playing a different story. She's telling you something else. She's telling you a different story. and and it's crazy how society accepts that. That pressure on a man to perform. And even men put the pressure on themselves. Even men are willing to go that extra mile to put that pressure on themselves and be like, yeah, like I have to do this for my family, for my wife, for my children, for my partner. I have to live up to this expectation. I have to be the man. I have to provide. I have to care. I have to protect. A lot of things. I have to support emotionally and all that. A lot of things that men have accepted. But when it's the other way around, it's a little bit of a different story for the women. They tell you something else. Not every woman, kudos to all you high quality women out there, but not every woman will tell you that story. Many of them would. Many of them would tell you a different story. And she called it the typical stuff, the standard basic stuff. That's crazy. It's no longer, I don't know who this woman is, but this is no longer the standard thing expected of, this is no longer what women are, interested in doing these days. So yeah, let's see what else she's saying.
But kind of like what you said, you want to make your house like a safe place for your husband to come home to and just make him comfortable.
You want to make your house a safe place for your husband to come home to. Did you, like that line is, I know of many men who are not able to go back home easily, who are not able to go back to their partner, to their home because they know there's no peace there. There's no rest. There's no calm. There's nothing there for them. After a long day of work, after a stressful day, whatever it's been, trying to live up and be a man, after all that, you will see a lot of men driving home. And the next thing, they think twice. They turn their car to the club or to their friend's house or to the beer parlor or wherever they could go ease off. That's not home. Because who is at home waiting for them? Their wife. Their wife is at home waiting for them. And they cannot stand her and the sort of pressure or nagging that will come with her when they get home. This is a pandemic right now.
Comfortable and serve him. So every morning and every night, I literally massage him until he goes to bed. So every night
I'm not sure if I heard that correctly. She said she massages him every night before he goes to bed. I'm laughing because I do not know how many people are doing that. I do not know how many women are doing that, especially in the Western world. I don't know if this is actually a thing. It's shocking to hear this woman talk about this. This is from the Whatever podcast. You can go watch it if you like. But it's shocking for me to actually hear a woman say this in terms of giving her husband a massage every night. This is something that I have experienced a lot of things. I've experienced this in different sort of relationships. That's why I can be in this position to tell you a lot of things. That sort of commitment to nurture your husband at night in that way, to massage him, take care of him, treat him right so that he can rest after a long day. It's crazy. It's a little too sacrificial because a lot of these women also work and have other things they do throughout the day or are navigating their, the home. So it gets tiring. But for a woman to be committed to that level of performance, it's astonishing and impressive.
I put my daughter to bed and then I massage my husband to sleep and then I go to sleep. And that's what I do because he wakes up and he works hard to provide for the family. So my job is to make sure that he gets to sleep and has a good night's rest. So that's something I do. I fully trust him. That's a lesson that I've had to learn because sometimes I've always had a strong personality and there's been times.
She said she trusts him and she learned it the hard way. So there's naturally a resistance with everyone. With a woman, with a man, you're always going to have a little bit of a pushback. But at some point, you're going to relinquish your own self for another person. At some point, partners do that equally. I'm not saying it's just women. At some point, even men, ask married men. Men have to lose a certain level of themselves for their partner to be able to accommodate and listen and, tolerate, whatever you want to call it, the other person. This is what's expected of a relationship. And she is saying that she has had to lose her own pride, her own entitlement, her own stubbornness and resistance and pushback in order to surrender to his leadership. which is crazy. Not everybody you surrender to must always be a good leader. But by the mere fact that they are in that position, you have to respect them. A lot of people don't understand this. So what? We don't like, I don't want to make political statements here, but some people don't like Justin Trudeau, for example, or you don't like Joe Biden. But you can't come out and, publicly, assault Joe Biden in some way, or, show him some sort of disregard or huge amount of disrespect. I mean, America is losing their, sense of respect in some way. The Western world is true. People are open to criticism, but that doesn't mean you have to take criticism to another level. You can't go to Russia and criticize Putin. You might end up somewhere that you don't want to, right? But that's not, I'm not trying to compare an authoritarian or a dictator to a marriage or a relationship. But by the mere fact that somebody is in a position, in a certain position, they demand a certain level of respect and acknowledgement. And this is not something you teach somebody. This is something they're supposed to know. The mere fact that your husband is your husband demands that you respect and honor him to an extent, to a high degree. And the same thing with your wife. As a man, you have a wife, so you have to respect that place of a wife, that place of womanhood. You have to be able to honor that.
I doubt his decision, and I've had to learn the hard way that no, you need to trust your husband. And once I do, and I fully trust him, I always realize, wow, he knows what's best for us. That's something that men are really looking for in a woman, is someone.
So I'm just gonna speak on that last statement where she said she discovered, wow, he knows what's best for us. Sometimes many of us believe we know. We believe we do. We understand. We know this and we know that. But it's true that some people might know better than you. There are times where your wife will know better than you, and you have to listen to her or your girlfriend. Yes, don't let your pride and ego get in the way. But there are other times your husband knows better than you. As a woman, if you're watching this, there are times your husband will know better than you, your partner will know better than you on something. You have to be open to listening and actually assimilating it. You have to be open to listening and accepting and assimilating and working with that knowledge. Otherwise, you would never have a successful relationship. Relationship doesn't work that way. You have to be open to listening. You have to be open to understanding. You have to be open to walking on another person's path that's not necessarily yours. There's been a lot of men who have been single for a long time and they do things their own way, right? Everyone who comes into my life has to accept my life. Well, to an extent, you will lose, even if it's 10% of your way of doing things, because you want to accommodate a partner. It's that simple. You have a way you've been functioning, but if a woman enters your life, you have to adjust the way you are doing things. You have to adjust the way you're functioning. It's that simple. It's the same thing when the other way around too. For a woman, you have to adjust the way you live your life. You have to begin to reprioritize. You have to do things differently for the sake of your relationship. Guys, this is all I have for you. My name is Ike. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and I hope I see more of you. Take it easy.